In this video, we will learn everything about the Goods and Services Taxation Scheme, which is famously known as the GST law. GST is India's biggest tax reform in 70 years of independence. It was launched at midnight of 30th June 2017 by Prime Minister Modi under the 122nd Amendment Bill of the Constitution. Now, this law extends to the whole of India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Passing the law on a midnight session, it now makes it to the fifth time in the history of India's independence when such a monumental decision was taken in a midnight session, which was held at the Central Hall of Parliament. Now, the other four movements include: the first one was on August 14, 1947, declaring India's independence, marked by Nehru's historic speech, Twice with Destiny. The second movement was again on August 14, 1972, celebrating the Silver Jubilee of India's independence. The third one was on August 9, 1992, celebrating 50th anniversary of Quit India movement. And the fourth one was on August 14, 1997, celebrating the Golden Jubilee of India's independence. Now, what is the purpose of GST law? The main reason behind implementing the GST law is to replace several existing indirect taxes into a single goods and services tax to ease the process of taxation in India. If you see, there are two types of taxes: direct and indirect taxes. Now, direct taxes are the simpler one to understand. They include income tax, property tax, then taxes on assets, all those kind of things. Then we have indirect taxes. Now, these are a little complicated ones. These are taxes levied on goods and services that we consume in our day-to-day life. These taxes include our central excise duty, commercial tax, value-added tax, food tax, central sales tax, introit, octroi, entertainment tax, entry tax, purchase tax, luxury tax, advertisement tax, service tax, customs duty, surcharges. There are 15 such indirect taxes. All these have been rolled up under one GST Act 2017. So remember this: direct taxes are the ones that are levied on the income, assets and properties that we earn, and the indirect taxes are levied on the products and services that we consume, basically our consumption. Now, before we go further about GST, let me quickly tell you about the tax structure, who is involved in what, and why government collects tax. First one is why government collects tax. Now, levying taxes on citizens is an authority that comes directly from the Constitution of India, which gives power to the central and state government to impose and collect tax from the citizen so that the money can be used to run welfare schemes, create infrastructures like roads, railways, bridges, flyovers, subways, dams, and lots more. Then tax money enables the government to maintain public security departments like police, firemen, army, all those kind of things. Then tax money also helps the government to run essential services like municipal, health, education, food, etc. So basically, paying taxes is a contribution towards national cause, and government spends that tax money behind overall development of the nation. Even local authorities like the municipality imposes some minor taxes. Now, who collects these taxes? What is the chain of command like? The Central Board of Revenue, or the Department of Revenue, is the apex body in charge of administration of taxes. It is a part of Ministry of Finance, which came into existence as a result of the Central Board of Revenue Act 1924. As I said, that the Central Board of Revenue is in charge of the tax administration, which means they are also in charge of both direct and indirect taxes. As time went, they realized that handling taxation work for a country of the size of India was not possible for a single body. Then in 1964, the board was split into two departments. One is Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT, and the other one is Central Board of Excise and Customs, CBEC. The Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT, with the help of Income Tax Department, deals in administration policies, planning and collecting of direct taxes in India. And the Central Board of Excise and Customs, CBEC, deals in the administration policies, planning and collecting of indirect taxes in India. Now, both CBDT and CBEC is headed by a chairman of the rank of Special Secretary, along with a body of 6 members who are additional secretaries. Basically, they all are IRS officers. Moments back, I told you that both these bodies come under Department of Revenue, which is part of Ministry of Finance. So the Revenue Department has a Revenue Secretary who is an IS officer, and the Finance Ministry has a Finance Secretary who is again an IS officer. And finally, we have a politician who is the Finance Minister, overlooking all the chain of command. Now let's get back to GST. Who is the architect of GST? Well, GST was not something that just came up recently. It has been a 17-year-long journey for GST to be a reality. The whole idea of GST was conceptualized in 1999 when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was heading the NDA government. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the man who approved the idea of GST along with some RBI governors of that time. Convinced by the idea, the Vajpayee government in the year 2000 asked the then Finance Minister of West Bengal, Asim Das Gupta, to design a GST model. That's how the Asim Das Gupta committee came into existence. He was also asked to put in place the necessary back-end technology and logistics for rolling out the goods and services tax. So basically, Asim Dasgupta panel did 80% of the total GST job, and it clearly reflects in today's GST. Then in 2004, UPA came into power. Manmohan Singh became the Prime Minister. He retained Asim Dasgupta as the head of GST committee. However, in 2011, Asim Dasgupta resigned as the head of GST committee. Then K.M. Mani, the then Finance Minister of Kerala, became the head of GST committee. But he was not the man to finish the GST job, because he also left due to some corruption issue. By the time he left, it was 2014. The BJP came in power with Arun Jaitley as the Finance Minister. After K.M. Mani resigned as the head of GST committee, Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley turned to West Bengal again. Another Bengal Finance Minister, Amit Mitra, was made the head of the GST committee. Finally, with Arun Jaitley's effort and political will, 17-year-long GST bill was passed on the midnight of June 30, 2017. So basically, Asim Dasgupta is the architect of GST. Remember that. Now I'll explain the GST model or mechanism in a quick manner. The new tax system, which is the GST, is going to be very beneficial for the businesses and to the consumers. Under GST, there will be three types of taxes. The first one is CGST, which is Central GST. Then we have SGST, which is State GST. And then there is IGST, which is Integrated GST. So suppose you are a business owner and you are doing business in your state. That is, you are producing as well as selling in your state only. Let's say Maharashtra is your state. So while doing business, you'll have to pay CGST as well as SGST. Let's say your tax is 20%. So 10% will go to state government and another 10% will go to central government. But then if you are a business owner who is producing goods in Maharashtra and selling it in another state, then IGST will be applicable, meaning all the tax will go to the central government only. That's why you must have seen many state government were opposing the GST bill. They were complaining on losing out their tax revenue. So that was because of this. Now we will see the mechanism and how it is good for the business and consumers. With this GST, there's going to be an end to the cascading effect. By cascading effect, we mean double taxation. But remember the term cascading effect. You never know it can be used in exams. So GST will end the double taxation system. I'll show you with an example. So here I'm going to show before and after effect of the GST. On your left side, we have the before GST system, which is the regular old taxation system. And on the right side, we have the after GST system. So let's say you are a manufacturer. You bought raw material worth of 100 rupees. And you also paid tax at the rate of 10%, which is 10 rupees along with it. So including tax, it's 100. I hope there's no confusion in this example. Now you take all these raw materials and make a nice shirt. So you added value to it. You now made shirt that can be worn by someone. So you add your value to the cost, that is 30 rupees. Now the cost price of the shirt is 130 rupees, which is 100 plus 30. Now you have to pay a tax if you go on to sell this shirt to a wholesaler at the rate of 10% tax. You will have to pay 13 rupees as tax according to the old system. But in the new GST system, this 13 rupees tax is cancelled against the tax paid on raw materials. But in the old system, the tax is imposed on already taxed amount. So this tax on another tax is called cascading effect. This is what is going away with the help of GST. So in the new GST system, the effective tax will be 13 minus 10, which is 3 rupees. In the old system, in the second stage, you were paying 13 rupees as tax. And now you will have to pay 3 rupees as tax. There's quite a difference, right? So now when you sell that shirt to a wholesaler, your price as per the old system is 143 rupees, which is 130 plus 13 rupees. And as per the new GST system, it is 133 rupees, which is 130 plus 3 rupees. Now you are a wholesaler, okay? You've been promoted. So you decided to add a margin of rupees 30 to the same shirt. In that case, your shirt is now priced at 143 plus 30 rupees, that is 173 rupees. This is as per the old tax system. As per the new GST system, it will be 133 plus 30 rupees, which is 163 rupees. Now if you plan to sell that shirt to a retailer, then you'll have to add 10% tax on the cost price. So it will be 10 by 100 into 173, which is 17.3 rupees. Now you add this to the cost price, which is 173 plus 17.3, that is 190.3 rupees, as per the old tax system. In the new GST system, it will be 10%, that is 10 by 100 into 163, which is 16.3. Now this 16.3 will be cancelled against the tax paid on wholesale, which is 16.3 minus 13. and that is going to be 3.3 rupees. And now your cost price of the shirt under new GST system is 163 plus 3.3, which is 166.3 rupees. So clearly you see the difference between the prices of the same shirt under old tax system and new GST system. So like this, as the shirt goes ahead in stages, the price keeps going up. This is what is going to be a game changer. In old tax system, it was tax on tax, which increased the overall price of the goods and services. But in GST, you don't pay the same tax again and again. So I hope you understood the GST mechanism, how it works. Now let's get to know about this GST Council. The creation of GST Council is laid down as per Article 279A of the amended Constitution. The 101st Amendment 2016 made changes in the Article 279A, which in turn made it possible for the creation of a GST Council. Now GST Council is proposed as a statutory body empowered to make recommendation on almost all issues relevant to the smooth implementation of GST. And GST Council is headed by the Finance Minister as the chairperson. Then it has the Union Minister of State in charge of Revenue or Finance as a member. And finally it has all the state finance ministers as its member to give inputs and recommendations. GST Council has its own secretary as well. Then the chairperson of Central Board of Excise and Customs, which handles the indirect taxes in India, will be a permanent invitee to all meeting of the GST Council. Then the central government will take up the entire expenditure, recurring and non-recurring expenses for running the GST Council. The first meeting of the GST Council was called on 22nd and 23rd September 2016 in New Delhi. Now let's look at the tax slabs under GST. The current rate slabs are divided into 5 categories. They are 0%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. Gold, precious stones and rough diamonds do not fall under the current rate slab and will be taxed at 3% and 0.25% respectively. I'm not going to go in detail about the kind of products and services that falls into these 5 categories. I've just copy pasted some of the items in the respective categories. Just have a quick glance at them. Again, the whole purpose of the GST Council is to revise the rates as well as recategorize products and services from time to time based on situation, necessity, demand and supply. So you don't need to remember the order. Just pause the video and go through them. Alright then, I hope this video served its purpose and you're now well informed about GST and also about the tax structure and authority in India. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.